and welcome to BookNews Podcast in partnership with Kenya Publishers Association. My name is Virginia Thuku, and with us here is Truphy Njiru, the co-author of the Animal Puzzle book. Welcome, Truphy, to the Nairobi International Book Fair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Karibu sana.
Asante, Virginia. I'm
Yes.
glad to be here.
Yeah. So you were telling us about your book, the
Yes.
Animal Puzzle book.
Yeah.
It's about children.
Yes.
And I see we have a game of cards on it.
Right.
Yes. Please tell us more what this is all about. So interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's actually called the Fun Animal Puzzle book.
Mm-hmm.
We sat down with my co-author and we have written a previous book before on children. It's called Where Did the World Come From? And the desire for seeing something that's African, us, relatable to children was part of the main goal for our coming up with the book.
All right.
Because we kept on looking in the markets, and it's not bad to have storybooks from outside the country, but if a child can have something they can relate with, it's really, really brings home the story that you want to talk about. So after writing that initial book in 2020, this year we got an idea to just put something together that will make learning fun. My background with her comes from an educational, both of us have been editors.
All right.
With school books. So we edited curriculum books for primary schools and high schools and tertiary. So the learning for school, there's no way around it. You have to learn, you have to pass an exam and get graded. But there's an innate desire in me to just see learning be fun, because I believe learning should be fun.
Yes.
And when something is fun, the child can engage the mind, the senses, everything about them, and just get excited about wanting to know more. But in the process, it's not a tedious exam. I remember for us 844, you had to grab. Just grab. In fact, there was a song for it. So many vijana muongeze bidii. Mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri sana.
Yes, yes.
And you would be graded unfairly because you would be called a fool for being number last, and yet you have a brilliance within you that is not gradable with marks in class, a grade in class.
Yes.
So we just thought, you know what, learning honestly should be fun. So coming up with the Fun Animal Puzzle book was the idea behind it, because some of the things they learn in class, but some they don't. But they are widely available around us. So we put together interesting questions. The book is divided into 4 chapters: animals that live on land, animals that live in water, birds, and insects. So within each, there is an entire variety of activities. So there is crossword puzzles, there is word searches, there is jumbled words, there is multiple choice questions, there is a maze. I mean, by the time a child has interacted with information in jumbled words, you crack it and you feel some excitement.
Yes.
By being able to figure out something.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of unjumbling and scrambling, you have learned. Guess what? You walk away with a lesson.
Yes.
You actually learn.
Okay.
So we thought learning should be a fun experience, not the ones for, oh no, I have to
Back
sit
to
and
learning.
learn.
Yeah.
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 So that was the whole idea for the puzzle book. So the card game,
Yes.
You
Like
see-
the one I'm holding.
like the one you're holding.
Yes.
So we made sure the back was fun and colorful so that the person who's being asked can't see the answer. Initially we had thought put the answer at the back. Then we thought no, the person being asked is behind the card.
Yes.
So they can have a good view of the animals, and the person asking can have the answer but upside down.
All right.
So they are fun facts.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are already in the book. The cards, it's a pack of 108 cards. And the idea behind it is when you read a book that's puzzles, crosswords, once you're done, do you really go back to a puzzle? You've cracked it.
Yes.
Once you are done with a word search,
It's no longer exciting.
it's no longer exciting. You're brilliant beyond that.
Yes.
So you need something, like you need the next level. But because the lesson is reinforced with repetition, you repeat, but it doesn't have to be boring repetition. So we just thought, how about make it fun, not just for the children, but make it fun for the whole family. So the card game, 108 packs, 108 cards have 108 questions that reinforce some of the lessons the child has learned in the book. And now it can be something that the family uses on the go, on camp, game nights, family bonding when visitors come. And you get now to reinforce learning with fun. And some of the questions, even when we were coming up with it with my co-author, it was something so fascinating that we've had elephants around us all along and we've never known some things. Like, I could ask you maybe a few. What's the animal that on earth is the only animal that can't jump? It's an elephant.
How would I know if I've never seen one?
So fascinated.
Yeah.
And some fascinating fun details, like which animal can sleep for up to 3 years? It's a snail.
It can sleep for up to 3 years?
3 years. Even I did not know that. So you see, even in the process of creating it, even we enjoyed simple facts that we did not know about animals, and then now we get to appreciate it all over again. Even the child in me really got excited. That was the idea.
Very interesting. And you mentioned there's a book, another one you've written.
Yes.
Is it on animals? Or
the other one is a Bible series book. It's called Where Did the World Come From?
Okay.
So even that, we factored a feast for the eyes. We really want it to be relatable to children. It has activities, it has crosswords, it has a word search, it has a maze. So in the process of learning a Bible series story, you don't have to just read a story and go. You include activities that remind you long after you're done with the book, the lessons that you learned.
Yeah.
So that was our first children's book.
Okay.
And then now this becomes a series because we want to make now this a series.
Okay.
And go on to many other wider topics beyond the animals.
Do you only write about children?
So with my co-author, Helen, she's called Helen Wangeshi. With my co-author, our company called Fanisi Creations focuses on children. And not only do we have co-authored the 2 books, yes, but we also work with children authors. And the youngest we worked with last year was a 9-year-old child who wrote and published his book. He's called Ryan.
Okay.
So we work with children who have stories to tell the world, and they're able to publish their books.
All right.
So we started last year. This year there are others who are publishing, but with regard to us writing, we help children.
Okay.
Just unclutter learning, just bring down learning to where they are and then make it fun.
Okay. You have a lot of passion, and you have so much you've done with children and their learning. From what authority do you get this from?
Authority?
Yes.
With regard to?
Are you a teacher? Have you learnt about it?
All right.
Where have you gotten all this from?
So where I'm coming from is, like I mentioned earlier, that my background is in editorial. So I was first an editor.
Okay.
I worked with a few, 3 or 4 publishing houses. And then after I left employment, now I just realized learning is not bad. It's mandatory for all schools, and we would create curriculum books. So while I enjoyed it, because after we worked together with a few people, when they left, they proceeded and never looked back. They got into other fields.
All right.
But personally, even after I left employment, I realized this is exactly what I was born for. I love creating books. I love making, information available to people. And maybe even beyond just Fanisi for me and Fanisi Creations for me and Helen, I also regard myself as an archivist at heart, because I love telling stories. I've helped a few people edit their books that are already in the market. So now those would be people who are doing books on finance. I've helped people work on biographies, autobiographies, memoirs. So I find that I thoroughly enjoy making sure we archive information for somebody who needs to leave a legacy. If they go with all their information. And we are left to start from scratch when we could have stood on their shoulders.
Yes.
So for those that are interested in writing their stories, again, I have found my joy in helping them just put that story together, make it a book, and leave it as a legacy to the people who can learn from you. Because I find that, and that's what I tell all the authors I work with, your feet can never go to every place on earth. but people can meet you through your book and get into your mind and learn your wisdom and understand the things that they would never learn otherwise if they never read a book. So for me, in fact, I tell my friends that I feel a lot of pain when I see somebody who's 109, 199, they have gone, they did not leave us a book. It is such a painful, sometimes I even feel physical pain. I'm surprised myself. But I'm like, for me, those are three centuries, because if a person is 100, it means probably their parents may have lived around the same time. That's another 100 years before them. And they always learned from their grandparents, at the feet, at the knees of their grandparents, with stories, fireside stories. That's another century. So those are 3 centuries in one human being. And I'm thinking, how did you just...
And they have left with all the stories. All right. I hear you, because that's happening, and it happens a lot. Huh? Now, on this book, what's the age group you're looking at?
So we start at 10. We start at 10 years and above.
Okay.
And I got a very pleasant surprise yesterday. Somebody bought it for their son, who is 13. And yesterday that the boy had already started working on it. And he gave such an amazing review, because, I would have said 10 years. But now when a 13-year-old and above are interacting with it and saying, please write more books. In fact, he said, I have had so much fun. I have enjoyed, please write more books like this. Then it encourages me that it's the appropriate age we had thought of, 10 years and above.
Yeah.
Because even I, at this point, I would truly, the child in me would get excited, doing the crosswords, the puzzles, the word searches, and discovering, kumbe I can jumble those words. It feels nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where can we get the books?
So the books are available at Nuria Bookstore. They came out, they are freshly minted. They are out this week. They're actually ready by Tuesday evening, when the book fair was starting on Wednesday. So the first place we have stocked them with is Nuria Bookstore.
Okay.
And the goodness about that is that they can deliver. If you're not able to go to their bookshop in the bazaar, first floor, shop 1A, they can deliver come true.
All right. Now, with this book, does it have the power to remove a child from a screen?
Absolutely. In fact, part of what we were rejoicing over is that there's an excitement that comes with doing this, that truly focuses that excitement that goes to the screen. And it's something, maybe I'm coming from also the review that child gave, because it also means they're looking forward to the next. If there's another one, they would request the parent to purchase it. So it's an absolute good idea to take you away from the screen. But beyond the book, the card game also gives you fun time away from the screen.
Yes.
So it was our wish, even as we were creating it. So hearing it from an actual user, end user, assures us that our goals have been met.
All right. So, is this your first time at the Nairobi International Book Fair?
No, I've been. In fact, I used to come when I was in employment. I was in Longhorn 2007 to 2012.
Okay.
So now we used to be the ones behind the stands and inviting people. And every single year after that,
all right,
I always come.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a parting shot, what have you seen that has changed over time, and what would you want to see in future?
Definitely digital. Like, it's such a big deal. I don't think you were here then.
No.
Like, this is such a big move, because previously it used to be you have to walk physically to that bookshop. You have to walk physically to that publisher and tell them I have a book, and they consider you or not. I mean, the digital space. I'm from behind one of these stands at the back, and I can see children so engaged. In fact, I had one of the attendants say, watoto wamekwama hapa, wamekwama, hawatoki, wamekwama. So for me, if at all there is a massive shift forward, and we are going to have more of that, is definitely the digital space that's being acquired and embraced by everybody. There is no turning back to that, and I'm excited about it.
All right. So thank you so much for gracing us.
Thank you for having me. I'm the one who's so grateful.
It's mutual.
Very grateful. Very Very good.
Yeah, and thank you for talking to us about the children's book. And we hope that everybody who gets to interact with it, every child, will be out of the screen and just engage their mind and be creatively knowledgeable about stuff. So,
Sure.
what's the next one that's coming?
The next one is a series. It's already cooking in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see whether it's possible for us to get it out this year. It's a tight squeeze,
Yeah.
but it's still going to be a puzzle book now that we have received that kind of feedback, even from our first review, and others are still coming in. So we definitely want to go this way.
Okay. We can't wait to interact with it.
Thank you.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
for
very
having, or
grateful.
even giving us content that we can share with the children.
Sure,
And all
sure.
the very best
Yeah,
as we
welcome.
go about doing the other one.
Thank you.
Yes, because we want to see quality stuff that you have already engaged with other children.
Thank
And
you.
all the very best.
Thank you, and
Yeah.
thank you for the great work you're doing.
Yes.
Just bringing authors and people in this space to the world.
Okay.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Thank you. So, viewers and listeners, this is Truphy Njiru, the animal puzzle book. Thank you very much for listening to us, and we hope that you're going to buy it and enjoy it. Thank you. Have a lovely time, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciated.
So much. Appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.